Yeah, hey, good morning. I just want to say thank you for being here. Appreciate it, and look forward to working with everybody in here. There are some familiar faces. It's been a while, about 25 years ago since I was up here as an intern, but really excited about this opportunity, where we're at, and where we're going.
Questions?
Andy, Jerry Dulac, post-commitment. What's the toughest job? Is it familiar, or the biggest thing you need to do? Is it familiarizing yourself with the current talent, and how's that process go?
Right. Well, I think it's just coming here at the end of May, getting to know the team, getting to know the people in the building, reconnecting with some of the people in the building, and that's a daily process. You just go forward each day. You're trying to build relationships, connect with people, and know the team. Knowing the team first and foremost, and the players and who they are and their talents, and that's the challenge always in this business, and trying to find out at the end of the day who the 53 will be on the roster.
Andy, Brooke Pryor with ESPN. What was it about this job and working with Omar that appealed to you to come over and make the leap back to Western PA?
Wow. Well, being from here, starting here as an intern 25 years ago, and then my friendship with Omar, working with him back in 2000 in New Orleans, being a part of that season where we won the first playoff game in the history of the organization, and on that run and how our friendships just evolved. When he moved up here in 2001, introduced him to my friends I grew up with, my family, and him getting to know them, and having those same friends, group of friends, and then just as we've grown in this business together, our friendship, it's a strong bond. He was there the night I met my wife. He was at my wedding. We were at his wedding, and he's just a great guy, a high character person. He's really smart. He's really savvy, and just have a lot of respect and loyalty to him. And you just couldn't find a better opportunity. I mean, to me, this is an amazing opportunity with a great organization and great people.
Andy, Joe Rudder with the Pittsburgh trip. How you doing?
Great.
This is kind of a new role they created here, assistant GM. What exactly are your responsibilities, and do you focus on one thing maybe more than another side?
Right. So be overlooking the pro side of scouting and the college scouting, and just working with Omar daily, and working with our scouts, staying in communication with them. And the one thing I've known, just like the place I've been where we've had the most success, is that we're an extension of the coaching staff. Like I tell it to our scouts, like we're an extension of Coach Tomlin and his staff. We're going to go out and find players that fit the job description and fit the type of culture and the program that he has here. And that's important. You have that alignment, and when you have that working and you have that alignment, man, great things are possible.
Andy, Mike Pursuit of WDVE. You worked on Super Bowl winners with Baltimore and Philly. Was there anything you found common in terms of a trait or an organizational characteristic that helped facilitate that?
I think the thing on the team you found out was the selflessness of the players and the love they had for one another. They looked forward to going to work together. They didn't want the season to end. And when you have that kind of, obviously you have to have the talent, but when you have that kind of chemistry in your locker room, you're able to overcome the adversity that comes with the season. Injuries. I mean, if you look at the adversity the Ravens had in that season in 2012, what they had to overcome, and then in 2017, what we overcame with Carson Wentz, his injury, Jason Peters' injury, Darren Sproles, a lot of guys went down, a lot of guys stepped up, and you saw the veterans come back and help the younger guys out. When you have that love for one another and that selflessness, man, you can go far and you can overcome those setbacks.
Andy, Jim Wexel, 247 Sports, CBS. How much are you changing from what Kevin did procedurally in evaluating college talent?
Right. Well, we're going to try and keep building upon what he's built here, which is, he's won 2 Super Bowls. He's one of the best to ever do it. And we're going to add to the process. We're going to enhance where we can. And, just talking to the guys and that work with him, and I knowing him being on the road, we want to make him proud, what our product is here and the type of players we bring in, and to keep building on that. But we're going to do some things with, communication a little bit more. There's some tools we're going to do now. But we're going to just continue to find Steelers, and that's the goal.
Andy, Kevin was saying, even before he retired, he was just talking about, maybe needing fresh ideas or always wanting to get fresh ideas. How has that evolved in what you do when you talk about fresh ideas?
Right. I think one of the things that, I was fortunate is to the 4 organizations I've been with, starting here, learning under Mr. Nunn, Bill Nunn for 2 years, and Tom, and the people we had here. It was a great way to lay a foundation in scouting, and going to New Orleans for 5 years with Coach Hazlitt and Mickey Loomis, people we had down there, and then have the opportunity to grow and develop in the Ravens organization with Ozzie Newsome. And learning there about fit and personality and locker room, not just the talent, but, your culture. And then going to Philadelphia and learning more of the analytic aspect of it. I think all those places have set me up for this. I had to go to those places to learn and develop and grow. And whatever we can do to implement, to bring things, to add, to enhance, to evolve a little bit, we'll do it. And it's just been I've been fortunate to be around some great ones. I mean, spent 13 years of my career with Bill Nunn and Ozzie Newsome, 2 of the best to ever do it. And, the things that they've done here, obviously with Kevin, I mean, it's just a great opportunity to bring a dynamic collaboration. That's the way I looked at it. And excited with the group of guys that we have here and the people and the coaching staff and getting a chance to work together.
Andy, when you were with Baltimore, New Orleans, and Philly, were there as many guys in personnel and staff from Baltimore, New Orleans, and Philly as there are Pittsburgh guys on this staff?
No, there isn't. That's what makes it unique here.
How do you account for that?
I think it means a little bit more. You're from here. You grew up here. Your roots are here. You don't want to disappoint. And I know I feel that way. Growing up here, a Steeler fan, and you just. It's a great opportunity, and to me, this organization is the gold standard of gold standards, and you have an expectation and a standard to live up to. Coach talks about it all the time, and we got to make sure we're doing our part in this. And we talk about the goal here, and the goal here is to win number 7, and it's important. And we're going to work everything and pour everything we have into it, and go from there. So it means a little bit more, I think, when you're from the area and you work for this team.
Dale Lally, DK Pittsburgh Sports, you mentioned analytics. Some teams are very heavy in the analytics, some not so much. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I think if it's applied and you can find a usefulness, it's a tool. It's not the end-all be-all, but there is things you can find in it that'll be helpful. Just little things here and there. So I think the key is to find applied. There's so much data. There's so many stats right now. You can get inundated with it, and I think the key is to find the important things. To find the important data and how you can apply it to what your program is and to what's important to your team and your program.
Andy, you were part of the GM search back earlier this year when over a dozen people were interviewed. Just what was it like to be a part of that? And what kind of thing did you get the sense that the Steelers were looking for as far as, like what Jerry mentioned, the outside ideas?
Right. Well, first, it was an honor just to have the opportunity and to come back for a second interview. I looked at it first and foremost just to be considered for it. Man, it was a great honor and a privilege. And then to go through the process with Art, with Kevin, and then with Coach Tomlin and Dan Jr., it just felt at home. It just felt like either way, it was a great experience. And like I said, I was here 25 years ago. For 2 years as an intern, and just getting to know the business, making airport runs, doing mail runs, whatever needed to be done, I did it. But it just felt at home, and it felt like this is football. This is, the Pittsburgh Steelers. You walk by the trophy case walking in, and you see the 6 trophies. I wasn't here when the Southside facility, but you walk through there and you're just amazed, and it just stands out. And it's great people. And a great organization.
Andy, Tim Benz from Trib Live. When you have worked in other places, have other folks in those cities, those organizations asked of you what worked in Pittsburgh while you were there? Like, what was sort of the secret sauce that made it work? And if so, what do you think as you saw the team win championships in other places?
I think it's everybody working together as one for a common goal, right? You have alignment, and everybody's pulling in the same direction. And when you have that, you got to obviously have the talent. You got to have the right people on the bus. And when you have that and everyone's going the same direction, that's when you can achieve greatness. That's when you can overcome, like I said, you could overcome adversity, injuries, things happening. And it's just being a tough, resilient team, right? You have those kind of players. When I was here, it was we were 6-10, I think, and 7-9, the 2 seasons. But you saw like a veteran Damani Dawson, you saw a veteran Jerome Bettis, a young Hines Ward, and man, those guys are tough, resilient. You couldn't break those guys. Joey Porter, Aaron Smith. I was there the first 2 years and watching those guys grow in the league. Looking back is how they acted and handled themselves. Like, I always thought back to that. Like, and those guys are some of the ultimate warriors, best warriors this league's seen.
So is that sort of an intangible trait you can still rely on when you look at players, but at the same time, to some of the other questions you've been asked already, extract your knowledge of other places that you've worked and inject that to the building of a team?
Right. Well, it's a commonality. I saw it with the Ravens. I saw it with the Steelers here, with the guys here. Philadelphia, we had the same thing. We had guys that were tough-minded, strong-willed. You couldn't break them. They showed up every day, and they were resilient. And that's something you look for in the DNA of a player. It's something I believe, and I learned here at an early age from Mr. Nunn and from the Steelers organization, and it's carried me through.
Andy, when you were in Philly, how actively were you involved in the draft and putting together the draft?
Right. The last 3 years, I was involved with it, ran the draft meetings, and set the board, and would organize it. And then at the end of the day, how we would make the call on the pick, him and Coach Peterson or Coach Sirianni. So give my input, set the board, ran the process, and, had some good picks there. So
Who made the call?
Howie Roseman. Yeah.
Andy, Rich Walsh, KDK.
Hey, Rich.
Okay, how good of an evaluation did you have of this team before you got here? Maybe the guys that they drafted, and maybe how long did it take you to get up to speed?
Well, it's an exciting rookie class. I mean, you watch these guys out there perform, and I think top to bottom, they're out there every day. They're stacking days. They keep their head down. They grind. It's an impressive rookie class. And these guys, we scouted these guys when I was in Philadelphia. Really talented players. All these guys have a mentality. They come out there, they're competitive, and you see their toughness on the field. So that's exciting. And then as the team as a whole, I think it's a good mix. I think you got a good mix of veterans, excellent veteran players. You got some young up-and-coming players, and they're good people, high-character guys. So I'm excited to get to work with them and get to know them more as we go through this process and the season and the journey we're on.
Andy, Alan Saunders, Pittsburgh Sports Now. With the way the Steelers handled this transition, with Kevin doing most of the heavy lifting earlier this offseason, how much does that give you the luxury of the time to get to know the players and know the team and the things that you couldn't see from the outside before you have to make tough decisions about the guys on the roster and things like that?
Right. Well, that's a great thing of coming to Latrobe, being up here, is you get to be around each other. We're up here, and we're in our bubble. And we're working together, or eating together, and you're getting to know them, and it's accelerated. And you're watching it every day. It's a fluid situation. You're watching guys go out there, and it's a long camp. We got 2 more games to go, and we're going to find out more about our team as we go through this.
You, Mark, Andy, Mark Bowie, The Athletic. I'm curious your relationship with Omar back in 2000. Was there ever any late night talks? It's like, hey, we're going to do this together one day. Was that ever a goal of you two working together in a high capacity like this?
You know what? We didn't really have those talks. It was other things in our lives. I mean, that was going back 22 years ago, so we had different things in our mind. But it was just the connection we made. And when he got this opportunity to come up here, I helped him out and just tried to do some good friends of mine, and he made good friends with them. And, just staying in touch and watching each other grow. And he's the same person, back then, although he's older, but just a grounded guy with a great head on his shoulders, high character person, and a very loyal friend and very loyal person.
Ryan Batko from the Post-Gazette. You talked early about being an extension of the coaching staff. With obviously Mike and Kevin work really closely with how long Mike's been here, the success he's had. Does he have kind of more of a hand in this than other coaches you've been around, or is it that's how it's been at your other stops in terms of his relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here 2.5 months, and the one thing that's pretty evident about Coach Alma is he is passionate. He is a football lover, and he loves the scouting aspect of it. And he's great to be around. The energy he brings, the passion he brings, his love of the game. He's a great historian of the game, too. He's someone you can learn from, and just to be around him. He's fun to be around, because he loves it. It just oozes out of him. And, he's going to be involved in it, obviously, and look forward to working with him and collaborating with this and going forward on this process. So.
I also wanted to ask you, I know it's not new to have to be working with your brother in this capacity, but doing it here in Pittsburgh, there's brothers on the team. Everybody knows how family-oriented the Steelers are. Is it special to have him here with you as well?
Yeah, we feel blessed. I mean, to come back to our hometown team and work together. And Casey's really talented at what he does. He was an asset for us in Philadelphia. He's an excellent organizer. He does a lot of different things in the operation. He's done video, he's done team travel, and he's excellent at coordinating. He's one of the best in the business. And I'm not just speaking as a brother, but I just know, like, people, if you talk to people in the business, his reputation, he's good. And he'll be an asset for us moving forward. And it's great to look down the hall and see him or in meetings, have him next to me, and working 6 years together with him, and also growing up, obviously down the hallway from us in our house. It's special.
Anyone else? All right.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.